Hello there, everyone. How are you all doing today? I hope you guys are doing just fine, because I am gonna be not just fine by the end of this video. Oh boy, guess what we're covering today? DWTerminator! Yay! You know that idiot who fucking made that god-awful Doom Eternal fucking video? Ugh, fucking hell. Yeah, we're covering that retard today. So strap in, we're in for some real fucking bullshit on this particular fucking review, quote-unquote, of his. Speaking of the review, the particular review we'll be looking at today is one of my favorite Call of Duty games, Call of Duty World at War. Oh, I have so many memories of this game. Anyhow, let's stay on topic. So, alright, one more thing before we start. I am cutting out certain parts of this video because it's just fluff and bullshit. So I will leave a link in the description for his original video, just in case you think I'm taking him out of context or anything. So with all that bullshit out of the way, let's get into this bullshit, I guess you could say. Yay! Fuck you.
Well, as far as presentation goes, the first thing you'll notice is that this is brown and gray and realistic. Although there is actually a third color, and that's red. It's the red of the blood and gore that is splattered all over the place in this game.
Okay.
But other than that, you're dealing with a hell of a lot of brown and gray, and not much else. Even the jungles don't look green.
Oh great, now we're starting off with a subjective point. Oh, this will be interesting.
Apparently, Treyarch seems to think there is no such thing as a color other than brown and gray unless it involves blood and guts, so you end up suffering through that the entire game.
Because my opinions are fact, according to DWTerminator.
It ends up looking incredibly ugly as a result.
Oh yes, it does definitely look very ugly, and I think that's a good thing, considering that the real war itself looked pretty fucking ugly, especially some of these major battles. Like for example, the footage you're showing right there, as you said that, is the Battle of Stalingrad. And I have found some actual pictures of the Battle of Stalingrad right here. Yeah, actually, I think World at War actually kind of captured this pretty perfectly, I would say. It's almost like your complaints are kind of bullshit. Maybe a little research should have helped you before you made this shitty video, but, you know, who fucking gives a shit about research these days anyways, am I right?
Even though the actual visual quality is fairly solid. I mean, in terms of pure visual quality, it's about on the same level as Call of Duty 4. There's a lot of detail packed into the environments. It's just a shame that you can't really get past the color scheme. Of course, this was just one of many, many games around that time period that was embracing this incredibly idiotic color scheme, where they seem to think it means that the game is going to be gritty and realistic, when in reality, it just looks awful.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
I love the young people.
I guess we gotta do this again. Let's take a look at your footage. Oh look, the Battle of Peleliu. Now, let's look at the actual Battle of Peleliu, shall we? Yeah, about that. Please tell me why this doesn't look realistic for this particular game. This color scheme actually fits this game perfectly. And yet again, we have to come back around to realize this is a subjective point, which is really fucking dumb because it actually looks pretty fucking close to the actual events. I mean, look at this. I have this B-roll in the background showing actual battle footage. So, I don't know what you're fucking getting at here. And also of a side note, World at War does have a bit of a filmic look to it, like an old war footage type aesthetic to it. I thought I would mention that too, by the way. God damn, this guy's fucking retarded.
And speaking of awful, there's just certain aspects of the visuals that just look downright terrible, like the FG42 if your FOV is anything higher than 65.
I would like to point out that the fact that this game never had an FOV slider, and also many games on PC at this time never actually had an actual FOV slider. So it really wasn't a norm at the time to have an FOV slider in FPS or any other games at that time, which is kind of weird because I thought they would. So essentially, you have to actually go out of your way to break the FOV and then complain about why the animations don't work anymore, essentially. Oh, fucking great. You know, the funny thing is, he complains about the FOV breaking the animations of the gun if it goes too high in this game, but he never complains about the FOV breaking the weapon animations in all of the other Call of Duty games he's talked about prior to World at War, like Call of Duty 1 and Call of Duty 2. He never complains about the animations breaking once you raise the FOV past 65 or whatever the default is. And Call of Duty 2 has a lot of the same animations that World at War does, like the MP40. It was a bit of a fucking double standard here. It's like you actually have a real fucking hate boner for this game.
Obviously on PC you can raise the FOV. On the single player you can raise it up quite a lot. On the multiplayer you can raise it up to 80. Even if you raise it up to 80, it actually clips out. The back part of the gun, right before it hits the stock, actually just cuts off entirely and it just floats there. It looks terrible. Of course, at this point you're gonna go, but DW, you're not supposed to see that because the game is supposed to be rendered at 65 FOV. Well, too bad. Rendering at 65 degree FOV does not give them an excuse for being incredibly lazy. Not rendering much detail on the side of the gun that you're never actually going to see in the first-person animations, I can understand. Not rendering a full third of the gun entirely just doesn't make any sense.
What the fuck do you mean it doesn't make any sense? You're never gonna fucking see it. Why even bother rendering it? I mean, you literally just said it yourself. You're never gonna see it anyway, so why even bother rendering it? You are seriously nitpicking to the fucking extreme over here. Talking about details you would never actually fucking see. Fucking hell, you're just grasping at straws now.
And it's not like the FG42 is the only gun that has rendering issues. Plenty of other ones have animation rendering issues, namely things like the Thompson. If you go past 65 FOV, you can see them just pull the magazine out and just let it sit there for a moment before sticking it back in, which, hell, you can actually see that on the 65 degree FOV sometimes as well. And there's even clipping issues on the reload for the M1 Garand of all things. You can actually see, if you use the reload before the clip is actually expended, that the bolt will actually clip through the receiver. And that's not with me messing around with the FOV, it just does that, and it looks terrible.
Fucking hell, why are you even reviewing this game? You have literally fucking nothing on it. I mean, we're at the point where you have to fucking nitpick fucking tiny ass little details. The gun's fucking receiver slightly goes through the gun. Are you kidding me? Seriously? Oh yeah, but we're not gonna do the same thing for Call of Duty 1, or if Call of Duty 2 has any of those slight animation bugs or whatever not. No, we're not gonna do that. That means we would have consistent standards, and we can't do that. Fuck that shit. Huh. Oh boy. Can't wait for the rest of this fucking review. Oh boy, I can't wait to shoot my own fucking brains out.
It's actually kind of baffling just how all over the place the visuals are. And when you get to the sound design, things are really no different. You have sound effects that are just frankly terrible. All of the explosions are way too weak, none of the guns actually sound like proper guns.
Yo, what you doing, man? What you doing, man? What up?
And that's even by Call of Duty standards, so they really failed on that regard. But things really heat up when you hit the voice acting, namely with regards to Gary Oldman's character, who is Viktor Reznov. He is completely over the top, and you can really tell that Gary Oldman had a lot of fun doing that role. And it's actually pretty infectious once you get into the game. It's just a shame that the rest of the voice acting is just alright. It does have Kiefer Sutherland in it, and he does a decent enough job, but he's just nowhere near as ridiculous as Gary Oldman is as Reznov, so he's just not anywhere near as memorable. But the one bit that is memorable across the board is the soundtrack.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip the soundtrack bit. There's nothing here to talk about. Moving on.
There's only one really big problem with it, and it's something that permeates the entirety of the game. And it's something that I mentioned in my Black Ops 3 review. Treyarch seems to think that war is in and of itself really frickin' awesome.
Did we play the same game? Why would you get the impression that they think war is cool? I would like to hear why you came to that conclusion, to be honest. That's really fucking bizarre.
And they do their best to make you feel like a total badass for blasting a dude's arm off with a shotgun before roasting his buddies with a flamethrower and watching them scream in agony for several seconds before they finally die.
You see, Mr. DWTerminator, this is the problem with you. You treat your assumptions as if they're a fact or something. Like, when I played this game, I didn't think, oh wow, limbs blowing up, it's so cool, oh my god. Especially when the game first came out, back in 2008. That was not the reaction I got. I was pretty fucking grossed out by the game at the time. It was my first real experience with a more gory game at the time. So, my point is, don't treat your opinion as if it's some kind of fact when it comes to things like this. Because you're just gonna make yourself look like an ass, or incredibly tone deaf.
In other words, Treyarch has a violence and brutality fetish.
Where did you get that from? A violence and brutality fetish? Because they portray the war more accurately than the other Call of Duties, as in the gore and violent part. That means they have a violence and gore fetish? You're the most fucking bizarre take in this fucking game so far. Like, what the fuck is this? I mean, you heard it here first, folks. DWTerminator thought that Treyarch has a gore and brutality fetish because he says so. I guess that must be true, I guess.
You get the feeling that they...
Oh, there he goes again. You get the feeling, aka, I thought this, so everybody else must think this, treating your opinion as if it's some kind of fact that what everybody else must feel about this game.
We're trying to say war is hell, and thus the way to show that is to make this brutal and gritty and violent and everything like that. But at the same time, the soundtrack is basically telling you how much of a badass you are for perpetrating acts of brutality, and it's just this really weird feeling you get while playing it.
How about we stop pretending that everybody feels the same way that you do, and we all have the same opinion on this game, on every aspect of it. Great fucking video, by the way. Fucking fantastic. When his best arguments against the game, or whatever I guess, is you feel this way, even though, no, I do not feel this way, because that's only what you feel, not what I feel. Don't put words into other people's mouths. Speak for yourself. Fucking hell.
And while a decent chunk of that is in the visuals and in the sound design, the vast majority of this is in its story and gameplay. And of course, the story in this game is just World War II.
No shit.
But it's two specific theaters of World War II. You have the American campaign set in the Pacific, and you have the Russian campaign set on the Eastern Front. So basically they're just beating a dead horse with the Russian campaign, and they are trying something a bit different with the American campaign. The problem is that both of these campaigns are actually kind of a disaster, but for different reasons.
Oh boy, I can't wait for your reasons on why they're both a disaster. I can't wait. Please kill me.
The one thing it doesn't do is give any real regard for the common soldier like the previous Call of Duty games did.
Wrong! No regard for the common soldier? Are you fucking retarded? You literally play as a fucking private in both of the campaigns. Look right here in the fucking beginning title of every fucking mission. It shows you what rank you are. Like, look, for the American campaign, you play as Private Miller. And in the Russian campaign, you play as Private Petrenko. Or if I mispronounced that, I don't speak Russian. I don't know if you knew this, but a private is a common soldier. I don't know if you knew that. I mean, fucking shocking to my ears. Who would have known that a private was a fucking common soldier? It's only like that's like the first rank you get in the fucking military. Oh my god. Why should I take anything you say seriously after this point? How do I not know you didn't pay attention to literally anything now? I'm guessing you're just gonna skim over the campaign and not even talk about any of the plot points or anything. If this is anything to go by, I can't fucking believe this shit. What the fuck am I doing here? Ugh, fuck me.
Instead, it focuses on a handful of characters and basically makes the story about them.
Oh no!
The problem with that is that instead of actually doing character stories, what they decided to do was just throw you into a bunch of action set pieces as player one and expect you to think that it was the best thing ever.
Oh wow, look, DWTerminator being very disingenuous once again. Fucking shocker. As I would have expected. Just completely dismisses the story, doesn't go into any detail, be completely disingenuous. Oh, it's just about a bunch of characters and action set pieces. Blah, 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 blah. Wow. What a fucking asshole here. And no one ever thought it was gonna be the best thing ever. That's fucking retarded. Fucking straw man over here.
The thing is that while you can kinda sorta get behind that in the Russian campaign, because the Russian campaign is completely over the top and ridiculous.
Are you gonna give me any examples of why it's over the top and completely ridiculous? Or are you just gonna say it's over the top and completely ridiculous and not back it up whatsoever? I'm not gonna take your word for this. You have proven already that you don't pay attention to any detail in this game.
When you're playing the American campaign, it actually feels mildly insidious. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean that the opening sequence of the American campaign shows a Japanese officer putting out a cigarette in a fellow GI's eye before he has his underling slit the guy's throat and come after you next. It's the tone setter for the rest of the American campaign, where it basically treats the Japanese as pure evil that should be vanquished by any means possible.
Mildly insidious. Do you know anything about the fucking Japanese conflict in World War II? That is not an insidious look on the Japanese officers. And it's pretty fucking accurate considering all the fucking war crimes that went on during that time when it comes to the Japanese. Like, I can't believe you actually did no fucking research whatsoever into this conflict. Why are you reviewing this game? You know nothing about anything about this conflict, do you? That is incredibly mild and tame, what you just saw on screen, compared to like some of the more egregious atrocities that the Japanese Empire has committed. Let's look at one example, shall we? Yeah, that's pretty fucked. Makes World at War look rather tame in comparison, fucking retard. Get out of here with your bullshit. And your fucking second point. Holy fucking shit. I cannot believe you just fucking said that. Your opinion does not mean shit to me now. I mean, it didn't before. The holy fucking shit. You're going to the extreme on this one. I mean, context be fucking damned, I guess. You're a literal fucking POW about to get executed because you didn't give them any information. So they decided to execute you for it. And you got out of that American campaign is treating the Japanese as they should be wiped from existence? What the fuck?
And the game basically relishes in handing you a flamethrower or Molotovs or things like that to burn your enemies alive.
Yeah, relishing. I guess being historically accurate is relishing now, I guess. Fucking hell.
The thing is that while that sort of thing can work in a game like, say, Soldier of Fortune, which doesn't take itself remotely seriously and is just like, yeah, we're completely over the top.
What the fuck are you talking about? Alright, let me get this straight. Call of Duty World at War is a gritty first-person shooter game. Therefore, it can't have a flamethrower. What the fuck is this point? You are absolutely fucking brain dead if you think that's anything coherent. This is one of the most retarded and fucking brain dead reviews I have ever fucking seen. I would be ashamed of myself if I made this fucking video. Fucking hell.
Just deal with it. In this, the American campaign in particular feels like it's trying to be deadly serious, and it ends up coming across as outright racist in turn.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.
Meanwhile, when you jump over to the Russian campaign, it does demonize the living hell out of the Germans.
Shit, partner. Bitte! Wir geben uns! Bitte! Bitte!
And moron their way through the motherland with
Ich bitte Sie!
They deserve none in return.
He wants mercy! You do not deserve mercy!
What mercy did you show to our people? Die. Wait! He may help us. He can die for us. Mudak! This is not war. This is murder.
This is how you end a war, Chernobyl!
This is madness. Our rockets are tearing the city apart.
Wipe this scum from the streets! Chernobyl! What is going on?
These men are trying to surrender.
Look around you, Chernobyl. Do you think these men will be denied their revenge? Death comes only two ways. Fast or slow. Dimitri, it is your choice. Sure enough, you should learn from Dimitri. He understands the nature of mercy.
Oh my god! Wow! Oh my god!
But at the same time, it doesn't take itself quite as seriously, and you can actually just kind of get wrapped up in how completely over the top and ridiculous it is, so it actually works okay in that regard.
Bet you he's not going to give you any examples of why it's over the top. He's just going to say it's over the top and just move on.
You see what I mean by this game is kind of conflicting in terms of the feelings that it gives you?
DWTerminator, you can't even be bothered to pay attention to what happens on screen. Why should I even trust what you even say here?
But of course it really doesn't help that the game feels incredibly derivative. I mean, some scenes are pretty much ripped directly from movies like, say, Enemy at the Gates.
And this is a bad thing because... what exactly?
But it's even derivative of other Call of Duty games. I mean, you stormed the Reichstag in the original Call of Duty, and now you're storming it again in World at War, because of course you are, for reasons.
Again, why is this a bad thing? You're not explaining anything to me. You're just saying, oh, this is bad. But you never say, why is it bad? Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? You're saying nothing. There is no argument against this game you actually have.
But even when you get to basic things, like the level design, it ends up just being incredibly bland and generic.
Examples, please. Oh wait, you're not gonna give me any examples because you're fucking lazy. I forgot. Sorry. I forgot you're not actually a reviewer. You're just kind of a bullshit artist. I forgot. But my bad.
You go into these levels and you can very easily tell that they are video game levels and they're not modeled after any real world location or even attempting to make them look like a real world location.
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
You know, DW, this is where your lack of research is really gonna bite you in the fucking ass. Because the very location you're staring at right now in that game is actually a real world location. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. This is actually the Air Administration Staff Building. That was the headquarters for the Japanese Navy's 1st Air Fleet. Let me show you some more pictures, by the way. Yeah, this one right here looks almost exactly like it. Yeah, maybe a little research would have helped. But, you know, you're a DWTerminator and you don't do research, so, go fuck yourself, I guess.
The thing about video game levels, particularly levels in games like this one, is that the levels are not supposed to feel like they are from a video game. They're supposed to feel like viable real-world locations, and what you end up with in this is obvious video game levels that just drag on and on.
Please tell me how these look like video game locations. I'm honestly curious. These look like places that could exist today. What the fuck do you mean by video game location? Do you mean that they're shrunken down or something? Question mark? You don't explain this, so I don't know. Which is a big fucking issue I have with you, is you just don't explain things. Oh boy, why am I putting too much effort into this? I'm putting way too much effort into this. He didn't even put any effort into it in his own fucking video. What? Why should I even bother?
Particularly if you're playing on veteran difficulty, because then the AI is completely over-the-top ridiculous, where they'll throw grenades at you constantly for no discernible reason, and you will, needless to say, get incredibly frustrated at that.
Yeah, veteran on Call of Duty games was never really balanced. Just don't play veteran. I mean, that's all I have to say on this part. Don't play on veteran unless you like pain. Unironically, some people do like that.
That said, the AI in and of itself is not particularly impressive. In fact, it's pretty dumb when you get down to it. They will regularly just charge you for no discernible reason, making it incredibly easy to pick them off.
If you're talking about bonsai charges, then no, that's historically accurate. But if you're just talking about AI just running into you, I guess Call of Duty's AI isn't the brightest.
And the only things that really make it more challenging are the fact that the enemies all blend into the environment.
I wonder why enemies would like to blend in with their environment. That's crazy. Who would have ever thought of doing that? It's like as if they don't want to get shot. Crazy. In a historically accurate game, you'd think they would want to have enemies that dress up historically and allies who dress up historically. Fucking nuts, am I right?
The Germans all blend into the gray of pretty much every environment they're in, while the Japanese are, of course, blending in with their jungle environment, and it ends up getting incredibly irritating to deal with sometimes.
A subjective point, by the way, there are a lot of people who want to be immersed in a World War II setting, where enemies ain't literally fucking highlighted for you. You actually have to go find them and figure out where they're at and shit. Oh, I find this irritating, so everybody must find this irritating.
And then when the game gives you a bit of a reprieve from just doing that, it's basically throwing you into a turret segment that you've done many, many times before, even in other Call of Duty games.
There wasn't that many turret sections in this game, and most of them were optional. Like that footage you showed earlier, you have the option of using it, you don't have to use it. That is the case with a lot of encounters in this game. I don't understand this point, as if turret sections in and of themselves are bad or some shit.
And the distinct lack of variety in both campaigns means that the campaign is one of the weaker ones in the Call of Duty series.
A lack of variety? I hope you're gonna explain this to me and show me what you're talking about and the lack of variety in this game. I hope you're gonna do that and not just say it has a lack of variety and just move on and not explain it. Oh, wait a minute. Who am I kidding? I keep forgetting who I'm talking about here. Moving on, I guess. Fucking hell.
Whether you're talking about the American or the Russian campaigns or both combined, it's not anything remotely resembling the careful masterpiece that was the original Call of Duty, and even the well-intentioned but mechanically messy Call of Duty 2.
Never played them, cannot comment on this. Moving on.
It's just bland and uninteresting.
That right there is what I'm talking about. I find it bland and uninteresting. Me, DWTerminator, my subjective opinion is fact. Is what essentially what he's saying here. Fucking hell. This is a review, apparently. And he's making his opinions facts. Great. If I ever make a review of something, I have to keep a note on this. Never make opinion a fact, because that's a subjective thing, and that's per person type of business. Oh boy. This guy's fucking awful.
And if it weren't for the sheer amount of brutality in the game, it wouldn't really stand out among any other World War II shooters. Where it does stand out, however, are the multiplayer modes, one of which is the co-op campaign, which is just the campaign, only you can play with 2 people, so really, why bother with it?
Yeah, why bother with it? I don't like this campaign, so nobody likes this campaign, because I'm DWTerminator, and that's how this works. I can't make this shit up myself. You're seeing this on screen. I'm not making this shit up.
And of course there's the Zombies mode, which is the cooperative defense game.
I'm gonna skip this zombie section because he doesn't really say anything stupid or outlandish here. So yeah, on to the multiplayer. Here we go.
But if the multiplayer style of Call of Duty 4 is more up your alley, then that's what you'll find in the multiplayer for World at War as well. There's only one really big problem with that. That style of gameplay just doesn't work very well for World War II.
And I can't wait for your completely logical and completely reasonable reasons for this, without any bullshit attached whatsoever. Let's get into this. Can't wait.
And while Treyarch did do what they could to make that work, ultimately it ends up coming across as an incredibly jumbled mess of multiplayer.
Explain. Hello?
You still have create a class, you still have rank.
I just can't do it. I can't take this shit no more, man.
Okay, fuck this shit. If he's not gonna explain why the multiplayer is a mess or anything, why do I even bother responding to him at this point? Fuck this, I'm done. If he's not gonna put in the effort into actually explaining the reasons why he thinks a certain thing is a certain way, then I'm not even gonna bother try to respond to it. If he's not gonna put the effort into it, why should I? Fuck that. This guy's fucking video is trash anyways. I've already covered enough of it. So yeah, that's the end of this video. If you think I took anything out of context, I have a link in the description for his original video. So yeah, up until next time, where I melt my brain on another retard on the internet, I will say thank you for watching, I guess, like the two people who have actually watched this video. Until next time, go fuck yourselves.
Welcome to Bam World. Bam